Welcome to the lecture series on design and analysis of algorithms. In this lecture, let us understand how we can apply the concept of branch and bound method, which is a variation or improvement in the backtracking paradigm, to certain problems like assignment problem and traveling salesman problem. So let us recap or review some of the backtracking concepts. So some problems can be solved exhaustive search, which will consume much of our time. So backtracking is a method which is a variation of this exhaustive search. The basic idea is that construct the solutions one at a time and improve it. If the partially constructed solution, if possible, to develop and continue. Suppose there is no legitimate option to continue, then come back or backtrack to replace the last component of the partially constructed solution with its next option. So the basic idea is that continue as a depth first search, and if it does not lead to the solution, come back and continue with another option, whatever we have. Whatever the backtracking algorithm is there, the partially constructed solutions are represented in the form of state space tree. Of course, there will be a root that is nothing but the initial state. Nodes in the first level are nothing but the choices made for the first component of the solution. Nodes in the second level is nothing but the second component, and so on. A node in the state space tree is said to be promising if it corresponds to the partially constructed solution that may lead us to the complete solution. I repeat, suppose a node, if it leads us to the solution, we say that it is a promising node. Suppose we conclude that further solutions we cannot get from that particular node, from that particular partially constructed solution, the corresponding node is said to be non-promising. Of course, the leaves of the state space tree represents either non-promising dead nodes or complete solutions. In the majority of the cases of a backtracking, state space tree is constructed in depth first search manner. Suppose the algorithm reaches the complete solution to the problem, either we can stop or we can continue further in search of the next solutions if we required multiple solutions. So in this today's lecture, let us understand a modification for the backtracking algorithm called as branch and bound. So as we know, backtracking cut off a branch of a problem state space tree as soon as we can deduce that it cannot lead to the solution. So this idea can be strengthened further if we deal with an optimization problem. Branch and bound is a concept that we can adopt to some problems, some optimization problems. Optimization problems means there are multiple solutions and we need the best solution based upon the objective function. For example, traveling salesman problem, there exist multiple paths for the salesman, multiple tours are available. We need a tour which consists of minimal distance. The objective is to minimize the distance of the tour. Similarly, knapsack problem is an optimization problem. We can fill the knapsack with different combinations of the items, but we need to fill the knapsack in such a way that it doesn't violate the condition that the total weight of the item should not be exceeded the capacity of the knapsack, and the profit should be maximum as much as possible. So the objective is to maximize the profit. An optimal solution is a feasible solution with the best value of the objective functions. So we can adopt backtracking with some improvement for the optimization problems. That is what we call it as branch and bound. Let us understand what is that improvement we can have. Compared to the backtracking, branch and bound requires two additional terms. For the implementation of the branch and bound, some additional terms are required. Number one, a way to provide for every node of a state space tree a bound on best value of the objective function on any situation. What is that bound on the best value? So bound on the best value can be obtained by adding further components to the partially constructed solution represented by the node. So one bound is required depending upon the problem as a maximization or minimization. It can be lower bound or upper bound. In the coming examples, let us understand how this bound can be computed. The second thing is we need to keep track of the value of the best solution seen so far. For every node we need to compute bound, as well as we need to keep track of value of the best solution seen so far. So these are the two additional terms that is required for branch and bound, other than backtracking. Other than including the backtracking steps, these two additional steps are required. So in general, we terminate the search path for any one of the following reasons are met. While constructing the state space tree, we can terminate a node if any one of the following three reasons are met. Number one, if the value of the node's bound is not better than the value of the best solution seen so far, we can stop it. Whenever we are computing the bound for the node in the state space tree, if the value of the node's bound is not better than the value of the best solution, so this bound will tell us what is the maximum benefit or minimum loss that we can get from a particular node if we go in that particular way. Suppose it is not better than the value of the best solution that is so far, then we can stop there, because no point in continuing, because it won't give you any better solution than the solution that we have seen so far. That is one thing. The second thing is the node represents no feasible solution. Suppose the node in the state space tree is not a feasible solution, if it violates the constraints, so then we can stop. The third one, the subset of the feasible solutions represented by the node consist of a single point, and hence no further choices can be made. Suppose the state space tree, the node that in the state space tree represents a subset of the feasible solutions represented by the node consists of a single point, then we can stop it. So these are the three criteria to stop the search process in the branch and bound. Let us understand in detail branch and bound process using assignment problem, or in other words, how we can solve the problem of assignment using branch and bound. So let us understand the assignment problem in the beginning. Assignment problem means, assume we have n people to do n jobs, so that the total cost of the assignment is as small as possible. It is given to us that there are n people and there are n jobs, and it is assumed that all the people can do all the jobs. It is assumed that all n people can do n jobs, and their cost of doing, person 1 doing job 1, what is the cost? Person 1 doing job 2, what is the cost? All these combinations, it is given to us. The cost of doing the job by every person is given to us, and it is represented by a matrix called as cost matrix. It is represented by a matrix called as a cost matrix C. It is a n cross n matrix. It is an n cross n matrix. So the basic objective is we need to find such an assignment. So each person need to be assigned with one job, or one job. Of course, one job can be done by only one person, or one person can do only one job. So we need to do some n assignments, one-to-one assignments we need to do. Whenever we are doing the assignments, we have to ensure that the total cost is as minimum as possible. So the objective is to minimize the total assignment cost. So this is a minimization problem. Of course, this is an optimization problem. Further, it is a minimization problem. So we can state the problem in summary as follows. So select one element in each row of the matrix. One element means one person, so that no two selected elements in the same column and their sum is smallest as possible. So from each row, each column, we need to select one position. Means one person is assigned with only one job, and one job can be done by only one person. So from the cost matrix, select the elements like meeting this particular criteria, and sum of these values should be as minimum as possible, smallest as possible. So I repeat, the problem definition is like this. Given n people, n jobs, n cross n cost matrix is given. We need to find out n assignments, one person to one job. So n assignments we are supposed to do such that the cost is as minimum as possible. So one example let us understand. So this is the cost matrix. There are 4 jobs, 4 persons, A, B, C, D, and job 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the cost matrix. It means that person A can do job 1 with cost of 9. Person C can do job 3 with the cost of 1. Person D can do job 1 with the cost of 7. So what we are supposed to do is, person A should be assigned with one job, any one. Person B should assign with any one. Person C should assign with any one. Person D should assign with any one, and all jobs should be done by all 4 persons. The selection should be in such a way that it is as minimum as possible. Cost is as minimum as possible. Now we are applying the branch and bound algorithm for this. We need to come out with how we can compute the bound for each node. Since it is a minimization problem, the bound we need to compute is nothing but the lower bound. So how can we find a lower bound on the cost of an optimal selection without actually solving the problem? Without fully exploring the problem, we need to find out, if you proceed in one particular selection or one particular path of a state space tree, how we can compute the lower bound. So bound computation in the branch and bound method, we can go for several methods. We can come out with several methods. So one simple method that is discussed here is optimal solution cannot be smaller than the sum of the smallest elements in each of the matrix rows. The overall optimal assignment here cannot be smaller than the sum of the smallest element in each of the matrix rows. That is one common sense or simple understanding it is, each row let us find out the minimum one. It is 2. Second row it is 3. Third row it is 1. Fourth row it is 4. So 2, 3, 1, 4. Suppose if at all we go for this particular assignment, the cost will be 10. But of course, this is just a bound. It is not feasible because person B we have selected job 3 here. Person C we have selected 1 here. Of course, this is not feasible. But what we can conclude is the optimal solution. For the optimal solution, lower bound is 10. For the optimal solution, the cost is not better than, not less than 10. So that is what the assumption. That's all. So the bound is computed like, for each row, select the minimum one. So first row it is 2, second row it is 3, third row it is 1, fourth row it is 4. So 2 plus 3 plus 1 plus 4, it is 10. So the lower bound for the overall assignment problem for this particular example, it is 10. So in the state space tree, this is represented as an initial node which represents the initial state of the problem without assign anything. The lower bound is 2 plus 3 plus 1 plus 4, that is 10. This is lower bound we are computing. Now let us go ahead with one assignment. Let us start from the first row. In the first row we have 4 possibilities. The possibilities are, person A can be assigned with job 1 or job 2 or job 3 or job 4. These are the 4 possibilities. Suppose the person A is assigned with job 1. The cost as of now it is 9. 9 it is. If the person A is assigned with job 2, the cost is 2. If he is assigned with job 3, the cost is 7. If person A is assigned with job 4, the cost is 8. Now, once one assignment is done, how we can compute the lower bound? Of course, here we have 17, 10, 20, 18. How we can compute this? We already understood how the lower bound is computed for the initial state. Now let us understand how the lower bound is computed after the first assignment. After the first assignment, what you have to do is, the lower bound is computed like this. First row, it is A is assigned with 1. So exact cost let us take. It is nothing but 9. Then remaining rows we have not done the assignments. So from the remaining rows, select the least values. So it is nothing but second row it is 3, third row it is 1, fourth row it is 4. So 3 plus 1 plus 4. I repeat, first row assignment is already done. So it is 9. A is assigned with job 1. From the cost matrix we know that it is 9. From the second, third, fourth row, select the minimum one. So what we get is 17. Similarly, here suppose A is assigned with the job 2. The cost is 2. And remaining rows, the minimal values are 3, 1, 4. The overall, the lower bound is 10. Similarly, here it is, third one, what you can observe is, third row, sorry, A is assigned with the third job. Once A is assigned with the third job, please understand one thing, the cost is 7. So job 3 is already assigned to person 7. Sorry, job 3 is already assigned to person A. So further, since that assignment is done, job 3 cannot be assigned to any other person. So whatever the job is assigned, that column we need to neglect. while computing that minimum value. For example, person A is assigned with job 3, the cost is 7 here. So exclude the column, third column, then compute the minimal values. So 7, 4, 6, the minimal value is 4. 8, 8, 5, the minimum value is 5. 4, 6, 7, the minimum value is 4. So 7 plus 4 plus 5 plus 4, that is 20. Similarly, go for the next one. Suppose A is assigned with 4. So the cost is 8, and further job 4 cannot be assigned to any other persons. So you have to exclude the fourth column. So B can be assigned with, of course, we are computing the lower bound. It can be assigned with 6, 4 and 3. The minimum one is 3. C can be assigned with 5, 8, 1. Not yet assigned. The minimum is 1. 7, 6, 9. You have to exclude this column. So it is 6 is the minimum. So lower bound is 18. So similarly here also for job 1 also, while computing this 3, 1, 4, we need to exclude the first column. Here A is assigned with job 2. We need to exclude the second column while computing the minimal values. So this is how lower bound computation is done. Lower bound computation is the crucial job in the branch and bound process. You need to understand this process clearly, then only we can continue to the then only we can understand the whole process completely. So as a note, it is given whatever I explained. Avoid the assigned jobs column for the computation of the lower bound, as it is not feasible in the future. So as of now, one assignment is done. Now let us go for the next assignment for the person B as a next level. So here one more thing is, rather than generating the single child of last promising node as we did in backtracking, we will generate all the children of the most promising node among non-terminated leaves of the current tree. How can we tell which of the nodes are most promising? We can do this by comparing the lower bounds of the live nodes. It is sensible to consider a node with best bound as most promising as of now. So this variation of strategy, branch and bound strategy, is called as best first branch and bound. It means we got 4 nodes in the first level of the state space tree. Among that, consider the one which is having the best lower bound. So here best lower bound means if we go in that particular path, we may get some best solutions. And let us understand this. So from the previous problem, we observed that in the node 0 the lower bound is 10, node 1 the lower bound is 17, node 2 lower bound is 10, node 3 the lower bound is 20, node 4 the lower bound is 18. From here what we can observe is, since we need to minimize the cost, the minimum cost that you can get if you go through this particular by expanding this particular node, it is 17. Similarly, if you expand this particular node further, the lower bound, the minimum cost that we can get is 10. Here it is 20, here it is 18. So among these 17, 10, 20, 18, the best one is nothing but the second node. So let us select this and let us expand this. So expanding is nothing but go for the second assignment. Go for assigning B. So A is already assigned with 2, job 2. So just avoid the second column. From the other columns, job 1, 3, 4, go for the assigning the best. Go for the assignment. So there are 3 possibilities for us. 3 possibilities. One is B is assigned with 1. B is assigned with job 1. Job 2 is already assigned to A, so we cannot assign to B. B can be assigned with job 3. B can be assigned with job 4. So we can observe that the cost, if you assigned B with 1, it is 6. Here it is 4. Here it is 7. Now we need to compute the lower bound. Lower bound computation, it is not given in detail here. Plus please understand how this 13 is got. 13 is got by A is assigned with 2, that is 2. B is assigned to 1, that is 6. 6 plus 2, that is 8. Then C is assigned with column 3, column 4 minimum value, that is 8 and 1. So minimum is 1 here. And D is assigned with, you need to exclude job 1 and 2 because it is already assigned to job A as well as job B. So minimum in the 4th row, it is 9 and 4, the minimum is 4. So 2 plus 6 plus 1 plus 4, that is 13. That is what we got here, lower bound. Similarly, how this lower bound is 14. So it is nothing but job 2 is assigned to A. Now job 3 is assigned to B. Job C, now we can consider the first column as well as the 4th column. Find out the minimum. 5 and 8, the minimum is 5. Then for person D, it is job 4 and job 1, the minimum of 7 and 4, it is 4. So it is 2 plus 3, that is 5, plus 5 plus 4, it is 14. So similarly for the last one, lower bound is 17. How this is got? 17. Person A is assigned with job 2. Person B is assigned with job 4, that is 7 as of now. Now computing the lower bound, exclude this job 2 as well as job 4. Person C can be assigned with a minimum of 5 and 1, that is nothing but 1. Person D can be assigned with minimum of 7 and 9, that is nothing but 7. So it is nothing but 2 plus 7 plus 1 plus 7. So 2 plus 7, that is 9, it is 10, 10 plus 7, that is 19. So that is how the lower bound is got. Now again here in this particular level, let us understand which is the best one, means which is having the lower bound. So this assignment, node number 5, is having the best lower bound. Let us expand this. So upon expanding this, what we can observe is how to expand this. Go for the next assignment. C is assigned with some job. So there are two options available for us. The two options are nothing but C can be assigned with 3 because A is already assigned to 2, B is already assigned with 1. So what's remaining is C can be assigned with 3 and C can be assigned with 4. These are the two options we have. Further, once C is assigned with 3, there is no further expansion happens here because there is no choice for D. So D is just assigned with 4, that's all. Because D is next level, we don't have the choice. So that is why we just assign that. Similarly here, once C is assigned with 4, for D there is no other choice. Only one remaining job, that is nothing but 3. Now this forms the leaf node. Now we are not computing the lower bound, we are computing the exact feasible solutions cost. Because all 4 assignments are done. A is assigned with 2, B is 1, C is 3, D is 4. What is the exact cost? So A is 2, it is 2, and B is 1, it is 6, C is 3, that is 1, and D is 4, it is 4. So 2 plus 6 plus 1 plus 4. So it is nothing but cost, it is nothing but 13 because we completed all the 4 assignments. Again, the other choice for us is for C, assign with job 4. So D is assigned with 3. So the cost is it is 2 plus 6 plus 8 plus 9. So it is comes out to be 25. So this is the solution that we have. Now this is the two solution on hand now, and these two nodes further we cannot expand. So among these two solutions, that is, one is 13, one is 25. Now what we are supposed to do is unexplored nodes here 6 and 7. You need to see whether the 6 will lead you with better solution than this this solution, that is 13. Observe that the solution as of now that we got, the cost is 13. Node 6, the lower bound is 14. It means if you expand this particular node, we cannot get a better solution than 13, because the lower bound is here, it is 14. So if you expand this, the solution may not be better than 14. We already have some best solution, that is 13, which is better than 14. So no need of expanding this. No need to expand this, as we have better solution than this lower bound. The same logic applicables here also. The lower bound here, it is 17. It means if you expand this particular node, the assignment cost is definitely greater than or equal to 17, not better than 17. Already we have a good solution with 13, so this is also not expanded. Now we have to go in search of the previous level, that is, here it is 17, here it is 20, here it is 18. All three are not, lower bounds are not better than 13. So what we can observe is any expansion of unexpanded nodes won't lead you or won't lead us with better solution than this one. So this itself is the solution, this itself is the optimal solution for us. So this particular diagram or state space tree shows the complete state space tree for the instance of the assignment problem, and the concept that is used here is best first branch and bound algorithms. Of course it is a branch and bound, because we are not expanding the state space tree exhaustively with all the paths. We are coming out with the bounds, and whenever we are selecting the nodes, we go for the concept of best one at each level. So please note, after the, as I explained, after the computation of the 9th node, we have to explore the nodes that we have that have better lower bound than 13. In this example, we do not have any such nodes, so we stop at node number, exploring after node number 9. The best solution, optimal solution for us is nothing but node given by node number 8. So this is about the assignment algorithm, how the solution is got. The final solution is A is assigned with 2, B is assigned with 1, C is assigned with 3, and 4 person D is assigned with 4, and the best solution we have. So next let us understand traveling salesman problem using the branch and bound method. Now we need to come out with how to compute the bound for the traveling salesman problem. That is the important factor here. Traveling salesman problem is a minimization problem, so we need to compute the lower bound here. So we will be able to apply the branch and bound technique to instances of the traveling salesman problem if we come up with a reasonable method for the computation of the lower bound. This lower bound means if you expand that particular node, the length of the tour is not less than that particular lower bound. So such method we need to come out. So what is the method that we can adopt? to compute the lower bound. So one very simple method to compute the lower bound for the traveling salesman problem is find the smallest element in the intercity distance matrix D and multiplying it by the number of cities n. Find the smallest element in the intercity distance matrix D and multiplied with the number of cities n. So in the distance matrix, get the smallest one, and we know that the path consists of n edges. So multiplied by n. So that is the lower bound for the overall tour. Of course, but we can have some better than this strategy also. But there is a less obvious and more informative lower bound that we can compute for the instances with the symmetric matrix D. Suppose we assume undirected graph. So we can get one better method. How we can compute that better method? So for each city I, find the sum Si, which is nothing but the sum of the distances from city I to the two nearest cities. So Si is nothing but the sum of the distances from city I to the two nearest cities, and compute S, the sum of Si's for I is equal to 1 to n, and divide by 2. So let us understand this way how we can compute the lower bound. Let us take one graph as an example. So there are 5 nodes. For each node, let us take the 2 nearest cities. For example, for A, the nearest cities distances are like one is 8, another is 1, 5, 3. So for A, the 2 nearest are C and D with the distance of 1 and 3. So let us add them together, 1 plus 3. For B, it is nearest one, that is 3, 6, 7, 9. 3 and 6 are the two smallest values. So A and C are the nearest cities. So 3 plus 6 let us take. For C, it is nearest one. Of course, the edges are with 1, 6, 4, 2. The best two are nothing but 1 and 2. So 1 plus 2 let us take. Similarly for D, the best two values are 3, 4, 5, 7. The best two are 3 and 4. Let us take it. And for E, it is 2, 3, 8, 9. The best two are 2, 3. So add them and divide by 2. So the value that we will get is 14. So the overall problem, the lower bound for the tour is 14. It means whatever the optimal solution we will get, the solution is not less than 14. It may be greater than or equal to 14. That is the lower bound. So this is what we understood here. To reduce the amount of the potential work, we take the advantage of 2 observations. Further 2 observations we will take. Number 1, without loss of generality, we can consider only tours start at A. Since we have only 5 nodes here, traveling salesman can start with any node. So let us say the source is A. That is the one assumption we are taking. The another assumption is that because our graph is an undirected graph, the path is like A, B, C, D, E is same as E, D, C, B, A. Okay. So 2 paths leads to the same cost because our graph is undirected. So we can assume that B is visited before C. We can assume that B is visited before C just to avoid this reversal paths. Let us understand this. For example, For this particular graph, for the graph which is given here, okay, now the tour can be something like A, B, C, D, A. The lower bound that can be computed, not the lower bound, the overall length of the tour is nothing but it is 2 plus 8 plus 1 plus 7, it is 18. Similarly, the reverse of this, ADCBA, it is also 18. So here overall there are 6 solutions are possible if you start with A. So among that, what we can observe is 2 pairs gives us with the same solution. Only thing is that the path is reverse to each other. So 1 and 6 are same, 2 and 4 are same, 3 and 5 are same. Only thing is the path is reverse, the length is same. So just to make these 6 solutions equivalent to 3 solutions, let us assume in our path B is coming always before C. If you assume that particular constraint, then this is a valid path. This is a valid path. B comes before C, and this is a valid path. So first one, second one, and fifth one is a valid one. So only thing is redundant paths, reverse paths are avoided. So 6 paths get reduced to 3 paths. So we are using the advantage of the undirected graphs. So in addition, after visiting the n-1 cities, a tour has no choice to visit the remaining unvisited city and return to the starting one. As a last node, the assumption is that once we visit the last but one city, then there is no other choice, we need to visit the next city, one remaining city. So that advantage also we will take. So let us understand, let us use these concepts, and let us take one example. So let us consider this graph. Lower bound already we have computed. So 1 3 3 6 1 2 3 4 3 2 3 divided by 2. So that is lower bound is 14. So in the state space tree, assume that we are starting from A, the lower bound is 14. Now we need to expand, means we need to get the next city, next choice. From A we have 4 choices. We can go to C, we can go to B, D as well as E. So 4 choices we have. So the path becomes a partially constructed solution. The path becomes AB. So AB, now we need to compute the lower bound. How to compute the lower bound now? Now the computation of the lower bound is like this. We take the best 2 paths from A. That is what we considered earlier. So now, since AB is the edge we already considered as a part of our solution, this edge need to be considered mandatorily. So from A, 8, 1, 5, 3 are the 4 edges. Among that, AB is already selected as a part of the solution. Now, while considering 2 minimum edges for the computation of the lower bound, this has to be mandatorily we have to take. So 3 you take plus minimum among the others. 8, 1, 5, that is nothing but 1. So 3 plus 1. So let us take 3 plus 1. Then while considering B, there is an edge from A. So mandatorily you have to consider this edge. So 3 plus minimum among the others. 6, 7, 9. Minimum is 6. So 3 plus 6. For C and D and E, the computation goes as discussed earlier. So no no problem for C, D and E, because we have not selected any edges that connects to C, D and E. So the first two terms for A as well as B, we need to consider the edges which is already a path, already in the path. So 3 plus 1 plus 3 plus 6 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus for E it is 2 plus 3 divided by 2, that is lower bound nothing but 14. Now let us go for one more choice. The one more choice is after A, let us go to C. We have one assumption earlier. The assumption is that B comes always before C. Since here C comes in the beginning, let us avoid this particular solution. Let us go for the next. After A, let us choose D. So after A, let us choose D. This cost is 5. Now while computing the lower bound, what we have to do is this edge mandatorily we have to consider. So for A, the contribution is from 5 plus 1. For B, the minimum are 2 and 6. For C, minimum are 1 plus 2. For D, mandatorily let us take 5. Then select any minimum, that is 3, 4, 7. So 3 is the minimum. So 5 plus 3. And for E, it is 2 plus 3. Overall, sum it up, divide by 2. The value is 16. Now go for last choice. After A, let us take E. After A, selecting E. So this is the mandatorily edges we need to consider, that is with 8. Weight 8. So lower bound computation goes like this. 8 plus minimum among these three, that is 1. 8 plus 1. For B it is 3 plus 6. For C it is 1 plus 2. For D 3 plus 4. For E it is 8 plus 2. 8 need to be selected mandatorily. From remaining 3, that is 2, 3, 9, we need to select the minimum. So 8 plus 2. Sum it up together, divide by 2. The value is 19. So these are the 3 nodes we need to explore in the next level. So what we can observe now is lower bound is good or better for the first node. So first node we have 14. Let us expand this one. So while expanding this, we have now some choices. So A to B, the path is already done. Now B, we can explore to C or D or E. So there are 3 choices now. The first choice is from B to C. Second choice is B to D. Third choice is B to E. In the similar way as we did lower bound computation, we need to compute the lower bound computation here also. Let me explain one. The similar one goes to the rest. While selecting this lower bound, while computing the lower bound, mandatory edges that we have to consider is AB as well as BC. AB as well as BC are the mandatory edges that we need to consider. For A, the computation goes with 3 plus 1. Then the remaining computation for B, it is 3 mandatorily we have to take as well as 6 mandatorily we have to take. 2 edges. For C, we need to take mandatory as 6 plus the minimum one, that is 1. For D, take the minimum 2, that is 3 and 4. For E, let us take 2 and 3. So overall, the sum it up, it will be 32 divided by 2, that comes out to be 16. Similarly here, mandatory edge we have to consider during the lower bound computation is AB and BD. Okay, so 3 plus 1, 3 plus 7, these two are mandatory, that is why we are taking it. It is a part of the solution already. Coming to C, it is 1 plus 2. Coming to D, it is 7 plus 7 plus it is 3. Coming to E, it is 2 plus 3. So divide by 2, it comes out to be 16. Similarly for node 7 also. So 3 nodes we got. Among this, what we can observe is 16, 16. Two lower bounds are similar. Let us expand both. Let us expand both since their lower bounds are same. So next choice from C, we need to go to either D or E. Two choices we have here. So two choices here. It is going to D and it is going to E. Once this is done, we don't have any other choice. The next choice we need to consider is E only. From D we need to go to E only, then coming back to A. So here also, once if you go to C to E, there is only one node is remaining, that is nothing but A. Then we need to come back to A. So what we are getting here, it is a complete solution now. It is a complete path A, B, C, D, E, A. Similarly here A, D, C, E, D, A. Now do not compute the lower bound. You compute the actual cost, actual length of the tour. The actual length of the tour here, just add this AB, it is 3, BC, it is 6, CD, it is 4, then DE, it is 3, then EA, it is 8. So summing up all these together, you will get 24. Similarly, summing up the path here, the value you will get is 19. Now expand this also, because it is also having the same lower bound. So we will get the paths as AB, DC, EA. The length is 24. AB, DE, CA, it is 16. So among these four nodes, 8, 9, 10, 11, the best one, of course, 24 first we got. Then we got 19, so better than 24 it is. Then again we got 24, it is not better than 19. Then finally we got 16. So among these four, this is the optimal tour. Now let us explore the other nodes which is not explored. See whether we can get better solutions. So we already have the solutions with length as 16. Now going back to node number 7, we can see that lower bound is 9. So lower bound is 9, so lower bound is greater than the optimal solution that we got already. So expanding this won't give us better solution than this node 11 or length 16. So do not expand this. Go for this. This is also lower bound node 3. Lower bound is 16. Of course, the length won't be less than 16. So definitely we won't get a better solution than already existing solution. Let us not expand this. Similarly here the lower bound is 19. It is not better than this 16. So let us not expand. So we can conclude that A, B, D, E, C, A is the optimal tour with length 16. So we applied best first branch and bound method. Thank you for watching this video. In the next video, let us understand how we can apply this branch and bound for the 0-1 knapsack problem with one variation called as least cost branch and bound and first in first out branch and bound. Thank you.